Hi guys, welcome to the part 3 in the fashion apparel retail space. So in today's video, we'll be doing some miscellaneous companies, okay? We will be doing Go Fashion, Monte Carlo, Cantabil Retail and Credo Brands Limited. So चार company हम लोग इस video में करेंगे. So the first company that we'll be doing is Go Fashions, okay? So if you look at Go Fashions, what does Go Fashions do? They are mainly focused on making bottom wears for women. Bottom wears का मतलब क्या है? It could be leggings, it could be pants, it could be jeans pant, all kind of pants, shorts, everything that you can imagine, the bottom wear that is there, they make that for especially catering only to women. Okay, so this is what Go Fashion does. Now if you look at Go Fashion, इसका बहुत सारे problems था, right? One is obviously कि like ये demand conditions के वजह से, like especially post 2020, once the COVID का thing was over, right? Once we came out of that pent up demand from COVID, we've seen this business completely struggle. Is because of कि like इसका consumer का demand अच्छा नहीं है, inflation high. This was a constant reason that was given, right? And if you look right now also, the situation has not really improved, because let me remind you one thing, for all these companies that we talk about, especially in the retail space, इनका Q3 का month is the best month. Q3 का month is when? October, November, December, which you call as OND, right? And OND, the months or the OND period is the most, the best period you can tell you, right? It's the most lucrative period for them because festivals are there, so people buy a lot of clothes as a result. Wedding season are at all-time high, right? So all of these gives a huge push. If they don't do in Q1 and Q2 also, at least in Q3, they get a huge push. Like one quarter में इतना push मिल जाता है because of this OND का month. Okay. Now in spite of this being an OND का month, right? You see that the sales grew by 6%. PAT तो flat है. PAT literally grew by 0%. SSG जो है उनका, even SSG that is there, SSG is also 0. ठीक है. So almost यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है business में. मतलब can you imagine आपका SSG 0 है, मतलब क्या? That there are the जो let's say for example last year you had opened some stores, अभी इस साल में जो आपने stores open किया उसमें कुछ growth ही नहीं है. So this 6% का growth that you're seeing is because these people are doing massive store expansion. Because if you look at Go Colors या Go Fashions आप बोलते हो, यहाँ पे if you look at them, they add 120 to 130 stores every year. ये इनका target है, ठीक है? Every year they add 120 to 130 stores, and that is what they have done. Even in this quarter also, if you've seen, they've added stores, and the total stores right now is 775. Now if they don't add this new store ना, then क्या होगा? ये single digit growth भी नहीं आएगा, ठीक है? So that is a huge problem. See, whenever you are in a business, the growth is a combination of two things, right? Especially retail का, जो पुराना दुकान है वो भी चलना चाहिए, and the new dukan you have to put in more number of showrooms also. See, because the existing place, they will only cater to that 4 to 5 kilometer radius now, right? That is there, but also the existing businesses has to run, because if they stop working over there, right, then आपको आगे जाके store खोलने के लिए पैसा नहीं होगा. If the existing business only store ही नहीं हो रहा है तो उसका store operation के लिए पैसा कौन देगा? So SSG becomes very important for you, right? If you are dealing with QSR, ये सब fashion apparel space, the retail space and all, and we've connected the entire, right, we've connected the SSG sales, सब कुछ हमने वो workshop ने हमने discuss किया है. I will link the registration link below in the description box. Have a look at it, and it is one of the best workshops that is there out there. ठीक है? So anyways, यहाँ पे वही है, इनका SSG भी 0 है, and the entire thing comes down to one thing कि like आप store opening कर दो, वहाँ पे अगर उसने थोड़ा सा भी रोक लिया तो ये भी growth चला जाएगा. Other than that, if you see, इनका और एक problem था. So what happened was, in the existing stores that are there, right, the size of the store इनका, like earlier what they used to do was, they used to have this kiosk. आपने probably you would have seen in mall also, एक छोटा सा kiosk होता है, around 200 square feet का kiosk होता है, ठीक है? And how their marketing used to be, they used to do was, like उस kiosk में ही they would put up a banner telling कि like another Go Color store has been opened in so and so area, or in a few kilometer radius away from you, like this. So the existing store used to act as a marketing point for another store. That is one thing. And the existing store was very small also, like 200 square feet का था, right, around that area. So as a result क्या हुआ, they were able to do massive expansion also. Now they realized there were two problems over here. One, since the store size is very small, you can't give a lot of product offering over here, okay? So that is one problem. So they're shutting down a lot of their current stores, and they're trying to open more stores with a huge space, okay? Instead of 200 square feet, they're targeting around 500 square feet of like that all, okay? So this is one problem that is happening. The second problem, like I told you, right, they used to open a cluster of stores. So probably like in a radius of 3 to 4 kilometer, somewhere like 3 to 4 stores, So इसके वजह से क्या हो रहा था? One store was cannibalizing the one store was cannibalizing the sale of another store. Okay, so this was also happening. So now they've realized like, we need to, okay, we can do a cluster based approach only we will do, but we have to be a bit cautious. Which means what, earlier, let's say if an area I am opening, let's say 4 small sized store mein agar khol raha hu, abhi instead of 4 I can probably target 2 or 3 medium sized store. That is what they're doing, because small store mein kya problem tha, offerings nahi mil raha tha, and zyada bhi store khol liya to ek store दूसरे store को cannibalize कर रहा था. So overall, this is the reason why, like इनका यहाँ पे store expansion में भी problem है. Oh, nothing to, I mean, I would say the situation has not improved for Go Fashion. In fact, somebody had asked in the call, like, how does the months of Q4 look like? And they were telling like January is not going as we have expected, right? Like it's not picking up, or low demand condition वैसा नहीं है कि like as we are expected. So don't think, probably even if you look at the entire year, FY23 versus FY24 also, you might have a single digit kind of growth. Okay, the second company that we have is Monte Carlo Fashions Limited. Okay, so now what Monte Carlo Fashions does is they are also a retail brand only. Okay, but over here they have a specialized category hai inka, that is they make only cotton and woolen wear kind of clothes. Like when you go to Go Fashion, it is more of like polyester blend only most of the things, and they're like more like a fast fashion trying to give you bigger offerings. Similarly, whether you talk about V2 retail, V Mart and all, right, like fast fashion and value chain hai. But Monte Carlo isn't like that. They're more focused on providing cotton wear. In fact, उनका cotton का portion contributes 50% and 30% comes from the woolen clothes, ठीक है? And the rest 10 to 12% comes from home textiles, which is your curtains, bed sheet and all of that, ठीक है? So this is their business model. Now इनका अगर आप देखते हो, sales is up by 9%, but PAT is up by 22%, ठीक है? And अगर आप इनका SSG देखते हो, SSG इनका भी वही 0 है, ठीक है? SSG is nothing. So why is that the PAT up by 22% when the sales growth is just up by 9%? Okay. So if you look at it again with any companies, when you look, there are two aspects of it. Now, one is volume growth and the other one is your value growth. Now, volume growth ka matlab kya hai? You have to sell more of it. So if you look at the production that has been happened in terms of volumes, right, in terms of especially the cotton as well as woolen, if you see, woolen का वो जो production है, it grew by 1.6, but cotton का जो है, it degrew by 3.6. So ये जो आपको sales जो 9% दिख रहा है, right, and as a result you're getting a huge benefit in operating leverage. The reason is because of the value, right? There has been a price hike, like they've been able to get a discount, or you can say in terms of like price का in terms of cotton as well as woolen. So इसके वजह से, and management का ये बोल रहा है कि like we will not give any discounts in our products because earlier we tried it and it really affected our bottom line, so we will not give discount. But having said that, obviously discounts नहीं दे रहे, इतना competitive intensity बढ़ रहा है, but they're like no, we will try to strive at this rate only, and बोला है, ठीक है? And in terms of guidance, they told कि like probably this year, see, here is the thing, we always tell, right, look out for guidance, look out what, but it doesn't really mean कि like if some company is giving guidance, that guidance is आपको seriously भी लेना है, ठीक है? I mean that guidance is good for nothing. A good example is Monte Carlo. बोल रहा है कि like this year we will end the revenue in flat revenue होगा, that is FY24 versus 25 flat revenue, and improving in margins में थोड़ा बहुत improvement होगा. I mean this guidance is good for nothing, and they're telling कि like next year में probably high single digit growth you can expect in terms of in terms of FY26, maybe high single digit, या double digit का growth, and SSG is going to be around 7 to 8%, ठीक है? That is what they're telling. So again, not all guidance are good, some guidance are like this. I mean, what can you do, okay? Then the third company we'll be talking about is Cantabil Retail India Limited. This is a very exciting company because when I saw the result I was quite surprised, okay, because the result has been really great. Because the first thing, if you look at it, the sales, okay, first let me explain what Cantabil Retail does, the business model, okay? So Cantabil Retail क्या करते हैं, वो they sell a lot of men, women and kids wear का clothes under their brand. They have a lot of sub brand, and they are mostly into let's say for example they are a bit expensive, or I would say not expensive, but they're a bit pricier compared to let's say your V Mart or other V Mart and आपका Style Bazaar, in the range of Zudio and Monte Carlo, उसका range में आता है. Probably the shirt starts somewhere between 599, 699, 799, men shirts में बात कर रही हूँ. And they're more focused as a menswear का brand, because men's category जो है, men's category contributes 80%, and the rest कि like 10% आप बोल सकते हो आ रहे हैं from ladies wear and kids wear, but men's is a most, उनका men's का shirt pants, that is what they are known for, especially those formal wear shirt होता है ना, which you wear for offices and all, that is what they are known for, ठीक है. Now if you look at them, they used to be a good, ठीक है, मतलब 18% का growth engine है, but more or less they didn't perform really well for a very long time, because especially in that 2020 2021, I remember tracking this business at that time. They had a very good growth at that time because base इतना low था ना, so वो 30-35% का growth कर रहा था that time. Not just that, क्या हो रहा था, उसको operating leverage भी बहुत तगड़ापन से आ रहा था, because one of the touch points of Cantabil retail is they open a lot of showrooms in T2 and T3 cities, ठीक है. And T2 and T3 cities में क्या है, उतना सारा competition भी नहीं होता है organized sector में. At the same time, what will happen, your rentals are very low, and that too COVID time में you can imagine rentals कितना low था, like बाप रे बाप पूछो मत, right? And later what happened, once we got out of COVID and people started moving to office, two things happened. The demand fell down, as a result इनका sales growth जो था, pace of sales growth था, that came down. And the second thing that is there, right, the second thing is इनका rental income. Since they have a lot of Coco stores and Foco stores, their mix is around like Coco is around like 75 and Fofo is around 25%, ठीक है. यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, rentals like increased, like you remember that period, right, especially in that 2021 2022, whether it is rentals in terms of your house, your commercial building, it went up like crazy right after that, right, once people started moving back into cities to work, right. एंड दैट टाइम क्या हुआ, इनका पूरा का पूरा ना लग गया था ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज में, पूरा का पूरा वाट लग गया था, लाइक द बॉटम लाइन वाज गॉन ओनली, लाइक इतना सारा प्रेशर पड़ गया था, बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंड, दैट लीज लायबिलिटी जो हम बोलते हैं, राइट, व्हिच कम्स इन योर बैलेंस शीट, दैट हैड इंक्रीज्ड ओवर हियर, राइट. एंड एज अ रिजल्ट जब आपका एक्सपेंस बढ़ जाता है तो ऑब्वियसली योर बॉटम लाइन इज अफेक्टेड ओवर हियर, राइट. सो दैट इज व्हाट हैड हैपेंड, एंड इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू रिकवर पोस्ट दैट, राइट. दे नेवर वेंट बैक टू द ग्लोरी डेज ऑफ 35 एंड ऑल, it was mere like somewhere between double digit and single digit, it used to fluctuate over there, the growth rate. For the first time in a very long time in Q3, the numbers has been really great, because if you look at it, the sales is up by 24% and PAT is up by 43%. And what even surprised me the most is if I look at the volume growth, last Q3 versus this Q3, if you see, volume growth grew by 25%, and SSG for Q3 was at 17%, and SSG was a one thing that really shook me, is because last quarter Q2 में SSG was -3%, ठीक है. Like I understand कि like Q3 में आपका festivals है, that is there, but I was really shocked कि like भाई Q2 में -3 था, Q3 में 17% है. Like how did you grow? Like what happened कि like between Q2 and Q3 के like तो -3 से 17% तक SSG आए, ठीक है, right. And यहाँ पे and also over here if you look, उनका Q3 का store opening also has been great and everything. So I was like really surprised कि like what really happened is like business में is the direction changing, has the headwinds turned into tailwinds, is there some changes that we're going to witness, because इनका एक problem था, I'll tell you. They had a target of achieving 1000 crore by FY26, okay. Then what happened, they changed it कि like we will achieve 1000 crore not by FY26, by FY27. So they increase their timeline, ठीक है. So this becomes a negative point now for any shareholder when you're increasing the timeline for that same thing, right. On the other side the plus point is what, you're increasing the revenue in the same timeline. Like for example Sky Gold, right, Sky Gold ने पहले बोला 5000 by FY27, then 6300, अभी बोल रहे 7300, like उसी time span में आपने increase किया revenue को, versus here the same revenue but you're increasing the time span. Understand the difference. So that was a big negative. So I thought कि like probably Cantabil over here is changing, शायद वो they will do more, शायद they will recall the guidance कि like नहीं हमने बोला था 1000 crore by FY27, we will go back to the original guidance which is 1000 crore by FY26. But management ने उतना कुछ बोला ही नहीं, because they were like ये जो entire Q3, this growth that you're seeing, the SSG that you're seeing, a couple of reason was, I will tell you, I will read the exact क्या बोलते हैं, the line, the the what do you tell, the management का commentary. Major reason is the wedding dates. There were a large number of wedding days this time compared to last year, and in summer time also there were not much wedding, so there was accumulation of wedding in Q3, and that was a great uptick in demand, okay. So this is a major reason for growth and the same store sales growth, which is your SSG. Simultaneously we have made good changes in our new collection and that got picked up. That is the two reasons combined, we have good SSG and growth. आपने इस statement को पढ़ा, so what did you understand from this दिस स्टेटमेंट कि लाइक ये जो ग्रोथ और ये जो एसएसजी है ये पूरा का पूरा आया है, जो 17% का एसएसजी है एंड 24% का ग्रोथ है, it has come only because of two things. One is a marriage season, we had a good festival, right, and a lot of weddings happened in this Q3. That is one of the reason, and a good collection they got up in Q3 which got picked up, which means what, if probably this wedding season isn't there, this growth will not sustain for them. So it is a one time thing. जो आप Q3 में देख रहे हो यहाँ पे, the 24% kind of growth is a one time thing because of the seasonal events that happened in Q3. So this probably, this kind of growth, this kind of SSG that is there is not sustainable. ठीक है, in fact management ने वही बोला कि like yes, we are not recalling the guidance of 1000 crore by FY27, वही होगा, हम FY26 पे नहीं करेंगे, वो FY27 में करेंगे, and we will end the year as जो हमने previous guidance दिया था 80 to 20% का समझो, we will go back to the growth rate and we will also have SSG between 5 to 6%. पूरा साल का SSG होगा 5 to 6%, 17, don't expect this 17%. Okay, so that is what they told. I mean that is what you can expect from them. ठीक है, so other than that इनका क्या होगा कि like इनका स्टोर एक्सपेंशन भी अगर आप देखते हो ना, सी द कंपनी एडेड 43 स्टोर्स इन दिस एंटायर 9 months, ठीक है, एंड 20 स्टोर्स उन्होंने ऐड किया Q3 में. सो टोटल स्टोर्स एज ऑफ दिस Q3 इज अराउंड 576. नाउ दिस पीपल आर टेलिंग दे विल ऐड 70 to 72 स्टोर्स इन अ फुल ईयर, ठीक है, एंड इफ दे आर एडिंग 70 to 72 स्टोर्स इन अ फुल ईयर, ठीक है, सो टोटल स्टोर्स दिस टाइम इन द एंड ऑफ दिस ईयर कैन बी 606, ठीक है, मतलब FY25 का पूरा साल का स्टोर कैन बी 606. Now if you are going to add 70 to 75 stores every year, then it would take you to double the 606 to 1212, right? It will take you around 8 years to double the store count if you're adding 70 to 75 stores in a year. That is roughly a 8.5 to 9% का CAGR आपको मिल रहा है, ठीक है. So again, now do you understand कि like you now, because a lot of people might have this question ना कि like शायद उनका ये collection जो है it might again get picked up in Q4 also. We can see this good growth rate, right? Probably it is not a one time thing. It might be very hard for some people to believe it. So at that time whenever you face with these kind of things, so you will have to do this ulta calculation, store expansion का CAGR करो, because अगर store expansion, नया store का expansion जो है 8 to 9% पे आ रहा है and SSG is around 5 to 6% का, आप SSG 7%, then that just shows you ना 15 to 18% का growth वैसे हो गया, right? That is exactly what the management is telling. This is how you can calculate things. If you can't trust the management, then just do the store expansion का CAGR and SSG का addition you do, because growth is nothing but a combination of two things na, SSG and the existing stores, I mean SSG and the new stores that are there, right? Two things. Again, all of this has been explained in the workshop. If I believe if you bought the workshop, now what I'm talking na, it makes exactly like sense to you, and we've also mentioned it over there na कि like कब SSG को देखना है, कब SSG को नहीं देखना है, all of it. So get that workshop before it's too late, right? Anyways, now the last company that we'll be doing is Credo Brands Limited. Credo Brands क्या करता है? Credo Brands operates like, that is the company ka name, but they have a brand called Mufti which caters to menswear alone. Okay, so they're known for menswear. Now Credo Brands ka agar aap dekhte ho yahan pe, if you look at them, last quarter mein, they had a very negative tone in terms of the in terms of the con call. Now when I tell negative tone, what I mean by is, like in the call they had mentioned that that one of the statements were, we are cautiously optimistic, and this is my favorite word to reject any company. The minute you see these words now, cautiously optimistic in any con call, like bhai bhago in the opposite direction, I'm telling you. Okay, so even here also in Credo brand, right, the management was like, we are cautiously, because somebody had asked like how many stores are you opening, will you continue with the same store, aap ye dekh sakte ho, and they were like, we are cautiously optimistic, we are seeing the demand, and uske baad we are not opening any new stores right now, jab demand theek hoga. Now you tell me, right, if there is a lot of demand, if things are going good for you, business अच्छा चल रहा है, you would want to open more stores. कौन बोलेगा कि like मुझे stores नहीं खोलना है, is that person जिसको मालूम है कि like इसका business में a lot of headwinds आ रहा है. So Credo Brands is that अभी is they're going through that phase where there is a lot of headwinds because of the same reason ना, inflations है, consumer discretion नहीं हो रहा है, consumers are not spending, premium and mid premium brands में इसके वजह से बहुत सारा effect हो चुका है. So Credo Brands is suffering as a result of that, and the numbers are a testament for the same. Sales is up by 4% and PAT is up by 12%. Okay? And how is the PAT up by 12%? Because they have cut down on a lot of expenses, cost control kiya hai. Again, whenever you see the word cost control in the con call, in the PPT, you know that, again, like it's a bad thing, because your operating leverage is coming because आप कुछ काट के पैसा बचा रहे हो. It's like that. But the question is, आप कब तक काटोगे, कब तक अपना पैसा बचाओगे, right? See, ultimately, let's say if you're in a household, right, and if you're trying to save money, by not eating a lot, by not going out, but how long you will be able to, like, save the money, by buying the cheapest thing, doing that? There will come a time where you can no longer do that, right? The best way to do is what? To increase your income. Because if you increase your income, if you upskill yourself, increase your income, automatically savings होगा. Similarly over here also वही logic है, यहाँ पर भी apply करो. जब भी आपका sales बढ़ेगा, and if your sales increase by a good rate, one day your operating leverage will be visible. But at the end of the day, अगर आप operating leverage दिखा रहे हो, काट काट के कहीं ना कहीं expense को काट के आप दिखा रहे हो, ultimately there will come a time you cannot cut anything. कितना आप काटोगे, right? So you would need the sales growth to grow for your operating leverage to come, right? So that is one thing. ठीक है, इनका भी वही है कि like even these people were telling like January is not going well as planned, and we don't expect anything better happening in Q4 also, right? In fact, look at this, January has not panned out exactly after the way the Q3 did. So by the end of the year, we are expecting it to be very little growth in terms of same store growth, and maybe a high single digit growth by the end of the year. Okay, understand, read the language, read the con call, and understand the tone with which the management is telling, right? We might have very little growth in terms of same store sales growth and a higher single digit growth. मतलब क्या? Higher single digit growth का मतलब क्या? Somewhere between 7 to 9% you will end your sales growth, right? Little to no, मतलब आपका SSG शायद 0 या 2% होगा यहाँ पे, या शायद 3%, right? That is the max. Now do you see over here, some companies will not give explicitly guidance. ऐसे घुमा के आपको बोलेगा and you'll have to figure it out. And this is how you should read the con call, right? Every answer that you need for a business, it is there in the con call. You should just be smart enough to catch that vocabulary and figure it out over here. Okay. Another thing I'll tell you over here, these people had opened 27 stores on a gross basis. Now, whenever you look at store addition, there are two things. Okay, gross basis में and net basis में. ठीक है, gross basis के मतलब क्या है? That is the total amount of stores you've added. ठीक है, मतलब क्या? यहाँ पे उन्होंने 27 stores add किया. Net basis is मतलब क्या? Number of stores added minus number of stores closed is equal to net stores. ठीक है. So here if you see, they've added 27 stores on a gross basis and 10 stores on a net basis, which means क्या? आपका मैंने क्या बोला? नेट बेसिस का फॉर्मूला क्या है? स्टोर्स ओपनड माइनस स्टोर क्लोज्ड इज इक्वल टू नेट स्टोर्स. स्टोर्स कितना खोला? 27 माइनस वी डू नॉट नो हाउ मच इट इज क्लोज, सो 27 माइनस x इज इक्वल टू नेट स्टोर्स कितना था? 10. सो कितना हुआ यहाँ पे? दे हैव क्लोज्ड 17 स्टोर्स. They have opened 10 stores, but they have closed 17 stores. Now do you see over here, whenever a business is doing well, the number of stores will be opened more compared to the number of stores closed. Stores to har jagah, even if the business is not performing well, you will see even in V2 retail also, Style Bazaar also, there will be some stores that are closed. Kyun hota hai? Because there is an internal benchmark for that store to perform. It has to be break even in so and so period. It has to achieve so and so revenues. Itna sara customers aana chahiye walk in mein. When it doesn't perform really that well, क्या करते हैं मैनेजमेंट? उस लोकेशन में स्टोर क्लोज करके they will open it somewhere where it is lucrative for them. But can you see over here the number of stores? Usually you will see कि like number of stores is more than the number of stores closed. ठीक है, अभी यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? उल्टा हुआ है. The number of stores closed, 17 stores is closed, but they've only added 10 stores. Now do you see the problem over here? He wasn't kidding in the last call when he told कि like I'm being cautiously optimistic with the store opening that we are doing. कि like now are you able to connect the dots over here? See, so it is very important. Now do you understand? आपको शायद to a certain extent you will get by reading the PPT, but there are a lot of hidden tricks and gems you understand by reading the con call over here. ठीक है, and all of it, by the way, every single thing, कैसे ये con call को decipher करते हैं? How do you read this con call, right? Because I understand if you're new, it could be very tough. We've explained it in workshop. In fact, I personally have done it in that workshop. I took an example of the entire वो writing instrument का जो field है, जो space है. I've taken that entire space and I've explained it in the workshop. कि like how do you read, especially एक con call को मैंने पूरा starting से end तक how do you read that con call उसको दिखा के in that workshop I have done, and I've compared that with that P2P with other companies, and so you can see the good commentary and bad commentary, how do you differentiate between that. Okay, so I'm going to link the registration link मैं नीचे डाल रही हूँ, description box as well as pinned comment, it is there in all of my videos. So go and register there and use this time to learn, upskill yourself, and so you can identify these kind of hidden tricks and all of this from the management का vocabulary. ठीक है? So that's that with the entire fashion apparel space. I believe now there are only few companies left. One is Sai Silk, Vedant Fashion and Raymond Lifestyle, which is आपका वो एथनिक वेयर में थोड़ा सा आता है, वो थोड़ा ओकेशनल बेस्ड वेयर में आता है. इन दी अपैरल स्पेस वी विल डू दैट. आई विल नॉट डू दैट पेज, लक्स, डॉलर, रूपा, मतलब क्या ही बोले, राइट? वही रोते हैं वो लोग कौन कौन में, द सेम सिंगल डिजिट ग्रोथ है, द सेम थिंग कि लाइक इन्वेंटरी में टर्नओवर नहीं है, एंड विंटर सेल्स नहीं है, विंटर इज वेरी वीक, इसके वजह से हमारा थर्मल वेयर नहीं बिक पाया, एंड एज वी डिडंट सेल मोर ऑफ थर्मल वेयर, हमारा मार्जिन नहीं हुआ. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर it is the same kind of commentary, right? So, and it's not like the space has improved also in the last few years. I would say the last 2 years neither page has improved, not dollar, nor rupa, nor lux, right? It is still the same. वही 12%. I think dollar का guidance is to grow by 12 to 15% at max. Rupa तो same single digit growth. Page also same thing. Lux, so don't, it's caught in its own drama only, don't even ask. Okay, like, so I won't cover that in a video format over here, because I think the situation with the entire innerwear segment is self explanatory, I would say, in a way. ठीक है? So that's that. अगला वीडियो में हम लोग मिलेंगे, and until then, see ya. My throat is paining after talking for 25 minutes. Anyways, see ya guys, take care, bye.